Hello, my name is Ilana Lydia, and I'm the Artistic Director of B3 Theater. So far, you've seen our bold monologues. Are you ready for our brazen monologues? And tomorrow, we'll be doing our brilliant monologues. I hope you're having as much fun watching this as we have had in making it. Thank you so much for being here with us.
That was it. I was finished. I was done. It was as if I'd reached my lifelong limit of lies. I could not tell one more lie. Maybe I'm a sucker, because if I told just one more lie, I could have walked away from all that mess. Kept my wings, continued to fly. Kept my false sense of pride. But most importantly, I could have avoided being locked up in here with all you nice folks for the last 13 months. But I'm here. And I'll be here for at least the next 4 to 5 years. And that's fair. I betrayed the public's trust. I did. That's how the judge explained it to me. I betrayed the public's trust. The FAA, they took away my pilot's license. The chances of me ever flying again are slim to none. I accept that. That's fair. I've had a lot of time to think about it. All of it. I've been doing some writing. I wrote letters to each of the family members who had lost loved ones. Some of them were able to hear my apologies. Some of them never will. I also apologized to all the people who tried to help me along the way, but I couldn't, or wouldn't listen. People like my wife, you know, my ex-wife. And, my son. At least I'm sober now. I thank God for that. I'm grateful for that. Now this is going to sound real stupid, coming from a man locked up in prison. But for the first time in my life, I'm free.
I love how you get cold when it's only 71 degrees outside. I love how it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich. I love that little crinkle you get above your nose when you're mad at me and you're looking at me like I'm crazy. I love it that after I spent the day with you, I can still smell your perfume in my clothes. I love it that you're the last person I have to talk to every night before I go to bed. And it's not because I'm lonely or because it's New Year's Eve. I came here tonight because when you know you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want the rest of your life to start as quickly as possible.
I'll tell you my deal first. It's only fair. I go to Parsons, and I sort of have a boyfriend, but mostly not right now. I grew up in San Francisco. My parents run like a dim sum empire, so I'm kind of rich, but I don't really like to apologize for it. And I have a sister who's 5 years older, and she already has 2 kids, which I think is so gross. I mean, I can't even go over to her house anymore because of the smell. And I'm gonna be an international art star. That much is clear. though I don't know exactly which medium yet. Okay. Your turn.
Why does it always come to that? The moment a male, regardless of his age, is passionate about his feelings and expressive in his own sentiments and frailties, he's deemed a pussy in his mind, or another man's mind. Fuck societal standards! I mean, who gives a fuck what society says about being who you are? I'm sick of it. I think a man who is frank with his emotions is still a man. Why is it such a huge deal for a man to feel something for a change? We're human beings. We're allowed to feel blue when the moment permits it. So, why is it always women who have to be impractical and batshit about love and romance? You wrote a piece about the shelters and the hardships of it all, right? I get it. It's painful stuff. But I don't remember anybody ever saying relationships were a walk in the park. Disney made it seem so simple. But all it was flaws and unrealistic. The macho man, the woman needing rescued. It's shit. And why does a man have to be called a pussy as a negative connotation? Huh? Pussies can take such a pounding that it should be more of a compliment of strength, really. I mean, are men really that afraid that being open and sincere with their feelings is going to ruin their chances of betting a woman? Well, fuck those superficial broads, Rob. I'm glad I'm not one of them. Be frank, be truthful, and fuck those who can't take it. I'd rather have my man be his own, instead of just an artifact of an impractical society. I want a man who's alive, who can be one moment hot and passionate, and then melancholic or considerate for something horrific the next. Men and women really aren't that different from each other. Aside from our gender, the only real distinction that separates us is how we react, or choose to react. It takes guts to write about yourself so candidly, to put yourself out there in front of an audience of peers and total strangers to be criticized and picked apart. And if some peckerheads call you a pussy because of it, so be it. You're still more of a man than they will be in their entire lives. And people with a rational thought in their brain will back you on it. My mom used to tease about how my dad cried at his own wedding. Saw him in a corner outside of the reception hall, bawling in his hands like a kid with a skinned knee. He used to give him shit because he wasn't masculine enough to do it in front of everybody at the reception. Why? I think a moment like that can be an exception to the rule. That a man, regardless of how macho he deems himself or to others to be, can shed a tear in a truly blissful moment. I'm sure my father will cry at my wedding. Is he not supposed to be so proud of me that he has to restrain himself? Masculinity is not just about muscles and testosterone. In an attempt not to sound completely feminist, I think it's about the valor and pride of showing your soft side.
Grocery store the other day, about to buy some cans of tuna, when I sensed a very disturbed presence right behind me. I could tell she was a disturbed person by the look in her eyes. And I thought you should never look directly at a crazy person. Then I thought, I'm just going to look at these cans of tuna engrossed in whether they're in oil or in water until that person just goes away. But instead, she brought her fist down on my head and she screamed at me. Would you just move, asshole? Why would she do that? She hadn't even asked me, would you please move? At some initial points that I would know what her problem was. I don't always tell people what I want either. Like at the movie theater. There's people that just don't stop talking. On the other hand, I don't just go wham on their heads. You know, in a positive light. This woman probably had some serious, terrible life experiences that brought her to this place and time with me, the grocery store. And if I'd known her whole life story since the beginning, I could have understood her actions and how she got there. But even if I'd had that knowledge, which I did not, shh! I tell you what, I could have understood her actions and how she got there, but I didn't have that knowledge. And it was still my head she was hitting. It's so unfair. It makes me want to not leave my apartment ever again.
I'm dying. Oh my God. Ask me where I was when we rang in the new year. My arms are dead. They're falling off. Circling at 10,000 feet over Queens. And we had been for 45 minutes. And we continued to do so for another hour. I was praying that we would crash and burn. There wasn't one happy person on that plane. Everybody was going to a party. Nobody made it. Midnight came and we just sat there. Nobody said a word. We just glared at each other. Oh, and there wasn't a stewardess to be found. They were all up in the cabin with the pilot. And when we landed, one of them was visibly drunk. Oh, and the man sitting next to me, who I strongly suspect was either Jerry Falwell or a member of Trump's administration, total Nazi. Anyway, after about 30 minutes of him going on his theories of the sanctity of the home and the American family being the last bastion of Christian liberty, whatever the hell that means, well, I just said to him, well, speaking as a cocksucker myself, I completely disagree with everything that you said. I was so angry, I couldn't even get off on it. See, that's what happens when I go home. I lose my protective sense of humor. Happy New Year? Fuck you both. What are you doing here anyway? Shouldn't you be at a party or something?
My vagina's angry. It is. It's pissed off. My vagina is furious. And it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking up ways to torture my poor-ass, gentle, loving vagina. Spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers. All the shit they're trying to constantly shove up us, clean us up, stuff us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off. And it's staying right here. Like tampons. What the hell is that? A dry wad of fucking cotton stuffed up there? Why can't they find a way to subtly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says forget it and closes up. You need to work with the vagina. Introduce it to things. Prepare the way. That's what foreplay's all about. You gotta convince my vagina, seduce my vagina, engage my vagina's trust. And you can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton. Stop shoving things up me. Stop shoving and stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. And guess what? It smells good already. I'm trying to decorate. Don't believe them when he tells you it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy. Oh, that's what they're doing. They're trying to clean it up, make it smell like bathroom spray or a garden. All of those douche sprays, floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain. All cleaned up like washing a fish after you've cooked it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it. And then there's those exams. Who thought them up? There's got to be a better way to do those exams. Well, why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches up when you lie down so you feel like a wad of paper someone threw away? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight all up in there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? Why the Nazi steel stirrups and the mean cold duck lips they shove inside you? What is that? My vagina is angry about those visits. It gets defensive a week in advance. It won't leave the house. And then you get there. Oh, and don't you hate it? Like, scoot down. Relax your vagina. Why? Why? So you can shove some mean-ass cold duck lips inside it? I don't think so. Why can't they find some nice, delicious purple velvet and wrap it around me and lay me down on some feathery cotton spread, put on some nice pink or blue gloves, and rest my feet in some fur-covered stirrups? Warm up the duck lips. Work with my vagina, but no more tortures. Dry wad of fucking cotton, cold duck lips, and thong underwear. That is the worst. Thong underwear? Who thought that up? Moves around all the time and gets stuck in the back of your butt. Vaginas are supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girdles are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that. Something to give them pleasure. No, of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, make a nice pair of soft cotton underwear with a French tickler built in. Women would be coming all day long. Coming in the supermarket, coming on the subway, coming happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it. All those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas. If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself, like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds. No clothing. Just there, all draped in diamonds. My vagina helped release a giant baby. I thought it would be doing more of that. It's not. Now it wants to travel. It doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read and know things and get out more. It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants kindness. It wants change. It wants silence and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. My vagina. My vagina. Well, it wants everything.
It's 2022. They still have not found a cure for the coronavirus. My wife left me 6 months ago. We just ran out of things to talk about. But the worst part was that they found out the coronavirus was carried by dogs and cats, even guinea pigs. Animal shelters had to perform mass euthanasias. They buried the bodies in the back. Some people refused. They had coffins. People were buried with their pets. They said, I'd rather die than put up with this, than live like this. The ironic part is the air's never been cleaner. The oceans are cleaned up. Gas is 75 cents a gallon. But nobody wants to travel anywhere. As for me, I'm going to watch a 2-year-old rerun of Family Feud and get very, very drunk.
Hello everyone, my name is JP Clemente and I am the Associate Artistic Director of B3 Theater. On behalf of the company, we would like to extend our gratitude to every artist that participated in this project, A Night of Monologues. To the actors, thank you for presenting us your bold, brazen, and brilliant work. To the design team who continue to push boundaries in creating live theater in a virtual environment. And to you, our audience, for your passion for theater and your continual support of B3 Theater. Artists, art, and audience, there's no separation. We as a whole are B3 Theater. Thank you.